Thank you guys so much for joining. As always, if you would like, you can follow me on Instagram at DreamRare. You can follow me on Twitter at LegendaryEnergy. You could check out my website at legendary.vision. You could follow me on Facebook on this page if you'd like more news analysis, some music, some poetry, and some real talk live stream sessions like this. And I'm going to wait about 5 or 10 more seconds, and I'm going to start talking about the Las Vegas shooter story, which is the biggest massacre in recent modern U.S. history. 60 people killed, hundreds of people injured, and the media story originally broke and said, you know what, it's one shooter, just one guy did this whole thing. He had 20 plus guns, he had 2 windows smashed out, but he did it all by himself. No political affiliation, no religion, nothing, just this lone wolf mass shooter, and he's got a problem, and this is what it is. And unfortunately, people did what they normally do, and instead of making it about the story and solving the mystery, they just start screaming and yelling at each other like zombies. I wish we could work together and solve mysteries, but you have half the side saying, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist if you even question things, and meanwhile, there's no such thing as a conspiracy theory to an unsolved mystery. They're not claiming to have solved it, it's unsolved. So there's multiple theories and there's 0 real answers. A real, somebody who cares would try to, solve the mystery instead of pointing the fingers. You have a lot of extremists on one side saying, oh, he's a terrorist, he's a, lone wolf. It's always a white guy to say lone wolf. And I don't disagree. I think the media portrays certain people certain ways. They lie about labels. I'm not disagreeing that he's a terrorist and that, white males usually get called lone wolves instead of terrorists. I'm agreeing with that side completely, but that's not the story. It's about what's going on. So meanwhile, you have millions of people who are fighting each other, ignoring this story, and the only ones doing real investigative journalism, unfortunately, are people on the right side. And I say unfortunately because I'm going to reference some people here, and I reference people doing real journalistic work. If they're on the left side, then I will reference them. If they're on the right side, I will reference them. It's just I don't see very many left-leaning and progressive people investigating this shooting, which is strange to me because biggest mass shooting in U.S. history, no answers. And the media was like, gun control, blah, blah, blah. But once again, you never heard anybody in the media actually question the shooting. I'm just leading it all up, waiting for people to get into the live stream. So now that we're here, here's 2 major things that changed from the story. And I'm not going to spread conspiracy theories. There's a lot of theories on the internet that actually make more sense than the story we've been told, but I'm not going to share those. I'm going to share the exact facts, and then I'm going to question them like I'm allowed to do based on the Constitution and my right as a human being, at least until everything's censored. So the original story was, it was one guy, 60-plus-year-old gambler who, had a bad body, but he somehow got 20-plus guns into a hotel room. He got 2 possibly tripods and 2 guns. He smashed out 2 windows on a massive suite that's blocks away from each other. It's not even remotely close, the 2 windows. They're on opposite sides. It's a minute walk at least to get from the one window to the other for how big that suite was. And the official story is he's all by himself. He did it all in 13, 15 minutes. And then at the end, they said that he shot a security guard, right at the end. And the big story was this security guard. His name was Jesus Campos. You can look it up. They said, man, Jesus saved the day, man, because he came in and he got shot and he, let the police know earlier. They said that Jesus Campos, the security guard who was unarmed, got shot after the shooting. This is the original story. And they said that he checked in, I believe, on the 28th. You can cross-reference that. I was watching investigative journalist Laura Loomer and now Mike Tokes have, taken on the roles of investigative journalism, and they debunked days ago. I saw that they said that the shooter actually checked in to the hotel, I believe, on the 25th. So that's 3 days before the media reported. He was in the hotel for 3 extra days. Keep in mind, it's a hotel in Las Vegas. There's tens of thousands of cameras. We know now that the government is keeping a database of pretty much everyone's information. They have the capabilities to spy on everybody, but somehow they have no idea who this guy is. They don't know when he got to the hotel. So Laura Loomer and Mike Tokes recently, they asked the sheriff who's doing all the press conferences. They said to him, they said, hey man, yeah, I heard he checked in like 3 days before you said it. And the sheriff admitted, he said, oh yeah, he checked in 3 days earlier. So that's the first chink in the story that they originally fed to us, is that he got there on the 28th and he got there on the 25th. So that's 3 days, 3 entire days that he was in the hotel with all of the cameras, with all of the security, with the computer systems that log when he's in and out. That's how they debunked it, is Laura Loomer talked to people there and found out that he was in the computer system. This is all stuff, you're talking about the entire police force of Las Vegas and the FBI. They can't figure that out, but a random, Trump supporting journalist can figure that out within a few days. There's the first, weird event. So that's the lie, is he was there 3 entire days earlier. And the second one is one of the biggest ones, and it has nothing to do, once again, I'm just protecting myself from the people that are going to be irrational. It's nothing to do with the conspiracy. This is now a known fact, or a known truth, is that the security guard Jesus Campos was actually shot before the mass shooting, not after. So think about how huge of a difference that is. Enormous. The story was he got shot after the mass shooting where he shot down at the country concert, and him getting shot helped the police get there earlier. If he got shot 30 minutes before and actually got shot 6 minutes before the shooting, that means that the hotel, cameras all over the halls, cameras all over the hotels. A shooting, a literal gun going off in the hotel. You think Las Vegas isn't going to know about that like that? He got shot 6 minutes before the actual shooting. So according to the story that they're feeding everybody, that everyone's believing, they're saying, whoa, don't even question that. And keep in mind, while I'm telling you this, Google, who owns YouTube, is changing the algorithm, so no conspiracy theories can get out. Only mainstream sources who have been wrong about almost everything so far, and independent journalists, aka what they would call conspiracy theorists, knew about all of the stuff that they're reporting today. They've known about it for a week now. Anyway, so they're saying that this security guard got shot 6 minutes before the shooting. The hotel room is filled with guns. No alarms went off, no anything. The police couldn't get there. The security guards weren't mentioned. That guy gets shot. Who knows what Jesus Campos does after that, 6 minutes before the shooting. And they're saying this 60-year-old guy, who his brother is saying can't even pick up a gun and shoot it because the recoil is so hard, and these things are so strong that you have to be very, very fit, and it's very painful to shoot. He's saying he had the time to smash out an entire window with a hammer-like device. This is the media story. I'm just reporting the news, the facts that they're claiming. He had the time to smash out a window, shoot a bunch of people, smash out another window that's on the entire other side of the suite. It's at least a minute walk from that window. So you're telling me a security guard got shot 6 minutes before the shooting. He's smashing out windows on the Mandalay Bay hotel. He has the time to do all of that before authorities arrive. Because the original story was, thank God that guy got shot after the shooting. He saved a lot of time, and then they got there immediately. No. It's actually 30 minutes before that they knew that there was someone shooting in the hotel room now. This changes everything. And there's still so many holes in the story. I know his brother now is in Las Vegas being investigated by the police. His girlfriend, Mary Lou, or wife, flew to Los Angeles to talk. So, what's his name? His brother is, speaking to the FBI now in Las Vegas. His father was on the FBI's most wanted list. The brother apparently committed a bunch of crimes. And if you watch the interview with the brother, I've been planning on doing a whole, comprehensive, tight-knit video with all the proof about this, but stuff keeps coming out, so I want to hold off to get all the proof. But I've debunked almost 6 or 7 really weird things just out of the brother's interview. Earlier in the interview, the brother said, I haven't even talked to the feds. Like, no one's even talking to me. He's like, I don't even talk. And they're like, we heard that you were just questioned by them. He's like, yeah, I was questioned. I was talking to them. So he lied about being questioned. The brother said live on air for everybody to see on ABC or CBS or whatever news station He literally was like, no, he's like, I'm learning from the TV. I haven't spoken to anybody. And then they're like, oh no, I thought you just spoke. And he's like, oh no, I spoke. I definitely spoke. So everything about that entire interview is suspicious. I read all the mainstream articles recently. That brother is in Las Vegas to talk to authorities, and he says he's there to make sure that they don't go down any false trails, because he's like, I want them to understand my brother, so I don't want them chasing any false leads. Does that sound to any rational person, and I'll let you decide for yourself, does that sound like he's really trying to help, be like, hey, don't chase any false leads, or does that sound like someone that's trying to lead them in a certain direction and away from a certain direction? I'm going to say it now, and this is purely my projection, my thought, my opinion. This is not a fact, because nothing is a fact yet about this. The whole story literally just changed within a week. But I have no doubt in my mind that there were multiple people a part of this operation. I personally don't have a doubt in my mind that there were multiple people involved on some level. Because you're talking about a 60-plus-year-old guy who the media is claiming was a professional slots player and a professional video poker player. Both very hard games to play professionally, but it's possible. I'm not ruling it out. Spending millions of dollars, making millions of dollars, paying for his family, paying for his girlfriend, paying for his... And there's no possible way that he talked to anybody else. In the interview, his brother says the hotel rooms and the hotels are lying if they say they don't know my brother, because my brother had every card in every suite at almost every hotel. He was like, they know exactly who he is. He's one of the highest rollers in Vegas. So he immediately said to the news, if the hotels don't talk about, tell you what they know, they're lying, because they know everything about him. I mean, he was always there getting flown back and forth on the hotel's dime. And he has 20 plus guns in a room. More guns than he could ever possibly use by himself. What type of think about it. I mean, this is just a thought. I think we're still allowed to think. I don't know if that's ruled out yet, but he's got 27 guns, 24 guns, 25 guns, 26 guns, and then 2 big guns, and then cameras all over the place. What type of mass shooter, even if they are sick in the head and a lone wolf, just coming here to do their own thing for no apparent reason, what type of person would have 20 plus guns in a room that they could never possibly use by themselves? I mean, logic and thinking would tell you either he was an arms dealer selling weapons to somebody, or there were other people involved, or there was, supposed to be other people involved, but a lot about this story isn't adding up. And I really pray for the United States of America. If this happened at a hip-hop concert or a charity concert or a Hillary concert, I would be devastated. I would be trying to get to the bottom of this just the same way. I promise you, it has nothing to do with race, religion, or music. I could care less. It's the biggest mass shooting in the United States of America in modern history, besides maybe the massacre of Native Americans when, the government said, hey, give us your guns and we'll talk, and then they massacred them. It's the biggest one in modern history. And what do you see? What's the result of it? Once again, you have every major politician on the Democratic side and every, puppet on the news that is just like a shill for the government. They're telling everybody, we need to take away people's guns. So a mass shooting happens where no one knows what happens. The media is misconstruing the story. They don't know when he got there. They don't know what he did. They don't know why he did it. They don't know when it actually started. They were wrong about the entire thing, even though there's tens of thousands of cameras. And who loses their freedom? And who loses their money? Who loses their power? We do. We want to take your guns away. Meanwhile, whether you're left-leaning or right-leaning, this year, the police have been militarized. They passed some sort of weird act in Congress or with the president or both that the police can now be more militarized. So as the police are getting more and more weapons and bigger weapons, they're trying to give you less and less weapons and smaller weapons. I'm not even telling you my stance on this as far as I'm not a huge gun fan. I'm not a huge weapons fan. I wish there were no weapons in the entire world. Honestly, I don't like weapons at all. Not even like little ones. But that's the reality. The police get more militarized. The government is getting more militarized. And now they're trying to take it away from people. Who's going to profit if there's more security scanners? I mean, all of the mainstream news sources, you can Google, airport scanners, security checks, Las Vegas. And there's been 10 plus mainstream articles telling people, we need more security. in the hotels. That's what it was. We need metal scanners. We need detectors. We need metal scanners. But the tens of thousands of cameras that they already have, the ridiculous surveillance state that we already live under when it comes to, taking people's data and being able to virtually track and monitor people at any time, anywhere, that system failed. The whole entire hotel was monitored and it didn't work. They have no footage. They have no proof of when he even got there. They lied about when he got there, and they're trying to put more security in place when the ridiculous amount of security they had isn't even working, and there's no proof of that. And who's going to profit on the security scanners? Look up the company and the corporation and the people who profit from having more security scanners. Look up the people and the corporations and the profits who, will profit from fear and paranoia and 60 plus dead people who probably support the president. I mean, these are just things that if you're really investigating, that you question. What was his motive? Why did he do this? Who was he working with? I mean, he's a multi-millionaire with multiple planes, multiple guns, 20 plus guns, explosives and stuff they said they found at his apartment possibly. You gotta look that up. And the dude gambles for a living, but there's no possible way. I mean, his life is all about making money. The wars are about money. They sell weapons to people for money. They fund these rebels for money. They fund those people for money. They fund activist groups for money. The whole world, we know, it's all run by money and the advertisers. That's just the way it works. I mean, I don't think anybody is debating that that's how it works. So you think this guy just did this randomly, like no motive or no financial or possible affiliation and other people involved in the shooting, when the whole story has been already completely debunked as far as when he got in and what actually happened and the timeline? The whole thing has changed over the past 2 days, and I see very little featured stories about it. Twitter's not featuring stories about it. It's the biggest massacre in modern U.S. history in our country, and these are people that have talked about Charlottesville, where there were multiple activists, multiple white supremacists, neo-Nazis, right-wing people, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, just fighting. A woman gets hit by a car. God bless her. She dies not of getting hit by a car. She dies of a heart attack. Google it. She didn't die from blunt force. She died from having a heart attack. And that story gets blasted for 7 months because it's a very divisive story. It's going to have all sides yelling at each other. Oh, it's one-sided now. Of course it's one-sided, so you could push your agenda. I don't think anybody's disagreeing that white supremacists and neo-Nazis don't belong, but do you notice the difference of no one's covering this Las Vegas shooting? It's the biggest massacre in modern history, and nothing about the story is adding up, and nothing about the other story was adding up either. That's why when things start adding up, they throw it to the side, and here comes a new tragedy, or here comes a new divisive story. I mean, these things, as Americans, as citizens, from people who know from the left side and the right side that there's entities within our own country that have started wars, that have funded wars, that have manipulated countries to, push an agenda, sell weapons here, fund these people there, tell these people to do that. We're known to do it. It's an open fact now that we've done it. Just question things, keep an open mind, and just consider things, especially in this case, which is an open mystery. So I just wanted to share that. It's an unsolved mystery. It's not a conspiracy. It's not a theory. It's not a right-wing thing. It's not a left-wing thing. It's an American problem, because regardless of what happened, we have to get to the bottom of it, or it's going to keep happening. If we don't solve this one, and our gun control gets increased, and we get less weapons, but the police getting more weapons, and they get more security, even though the massive security they have doesn't work. What do you think it's going to lead to? It's going to be a loss for social justice warriors. As far as conservatives, it's a lose-lose regardless of what side of the political spectrum you're on. This is a serious situation. So I just wanted to say that. Once again, the major two switches that came up over the last week have been that the shooter actually checked into the hotel 3 days before they originally said. That's 3 entire days of him walking all over the hotel room that they somehow had no idea about for over a week. And then the fact that he shot the security guard before the shooting as opposed to after the shooting, that's a difference of between 15 to 50 minutes, depending where you're reading it. These are two massive switches in the stories, and it's not a conspiracy. It's mainstream knowledge now. Please question everything. Please be honest. Please have discussions. Please stop fighting with each other. The working class, the middle class, and even just normal wealthy people, we don't need to be arguing and hating about each other. This is a unified issue. We want to keep gun violence down. We want to keep massacres down, and we want to keep freedom and prosperity and equality up. So let's do that. Thank you guys so much for joining. Share this video if you think, or tag somebody if you think they can benefit from it. Who knows how long it'll stay up? Who knows if they'll even let me put it on YouTube, because they're already, they're changing the algorithm. So videos like this don't make it near the top, and mainstream articles make it near the top. They're, demonetizing it, so I can't make any money off it, but Jimmy Kimmel can make, $100,000 off trying to take the Second Amendment or lower it. This is just the reality we live in, regardless of what side you're on. So thank you for listening. Just wanted to add that at the end. God bless you, God bless your family, God bless America, and God bless the world. If you would like to donate to my news analysis and my occasional hip-hop poetry and all the stuff I do, I'm going to put my link in the description, and it really helps a lot, like I said, because they're taking the funding out and they're trying to block and censor videos like this as much as they can. But it's healthy for everybody involved, and I think it's very necessary. So thank you for listening. Have a good day.